Purim part 1. What is the secret to unparalleled Simcha? The question doesn't seem to make much sense. It's a day of Purim. It's a day of Simcha, freilichen Purim, a day of seudah, a day of getting shikr, a day of shalach manos, a day of mitzvahs, a day of friends getting together, families getting together, and then celebrating the Yeshua of Klal Yisrael. What could be a greater Simcha than that? What does it mean unparalleled Simcha, the secret? In order to understand the question, we really have to understand what happened by Purim. And we have an insight into this in the Gemara Megillah. The Talmidim Rav Shimon bar Yochai, they came to the Rebbe, and they asked him, why were the Jews chayiv to be destroyed in the days of Purim? What was Haman's Gzeira all about? He shot the question back at them. He said, what do you think? They said, because they attended the seudah Achashverosh. To which Rav Shimon bar Yochai responded, that couldn't be the reason. That would only apply to the Jews of Shushan. What about the Jews in the rest of the world? So he said, Rebbe, so you tell us. He said, because they mishtachim l'tzelem. They bowed to the idol. Rashi says, the idol in the days of Nebuchadnezzar. But we have to understand the answer that the Talmid Rav Shimon bar Yochai gave to the Rebbe. Because he didn't say it's not a good answer. He said it's not universally applicable. Meaning, for the Jews of Shushan, it would have been enough. Why would it have been enough? Why would the Jews be chayiv l'kliyah? Why would they be deserving of destruction because they ascended the seudah? What was wrong with the seudah? It was a kosher seudah. Presumably the wine was kosher. There was not any distasteful entertainment there as far as we know. Why should that be deserving of destruction? Because we have to understand what the seudah was. Achashverosh made a cheshbon, a calculation, that this was now a time to celebrate because HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a promise to redeem Klal Yisrael and bring the Yeshua and bring them back to build the base of Mikdash. It didn't happen. So he took out the kelim of the base of Mikdash, and he took out the Big Day Kahuna, and he was celebrating the demise of the Jews, the fact that Hashem, Rachman litzlan, did not keep his promise. And the Jews attended the seudah. In essence, the Jews were attending their own funeral. How can one attend his own funeral unless he's totally broken into pieces? Shivrei kelim, as they call them. That's what the Jews were. Despondent, despaired, yush, giving up completely. This is the matziv, this is the situation of the Jews by Purim. So when we understand the depths of despair, we can understand what the Rebbeinu Shalom did by bringing them Yeshua. Because to the depths that they were in despair and the depths that they had given up, to that degree is the Rachmanis of the Rebbeinu Shalom. And with this, perhaps we can understand the Rambam. The Rambam brings at the end of Hilchos Megillah, Mutav lad laharbos matanos evyonim laharbos b'sudos b'shlochs manos l'reyav. It's better to give more shalach, better to give more matanos evyonim than to give shalach manos and seudah. Why? Why is that a better mitzvah? She'ein sham simcha gedol mefura elo l'sameach lev aniyim v'yisomim v'almanos v'gerim. Because there's no greater simcha than to lift up the hearts, to gladden these people who are so down, despaired, and have given up. The Rambam doesn't say it's just a day to give tzedakah, and it's a day to do chesed. The Rambam is talking about Simchas Purim, and he says the Ikar Simchas Purim is not the seudah, and it's not the shalach manos, it's to bring these people up. Why? Because if a person does this, he's acting like the Rebbeinu Shalom. They're just like the Rebbeinu Shalom on Purim was a Rachman, took people who were broken, Jewish people who were willing to attend their own funeral, and lifted them up, gave them Yeshua. So too, when you act like this on Purim, you're mamish imitating. You're acting mahu af ato. You're imitating the Rebbeinu Shalom. Shenem malachiyos ruach shvoli achis lev nitkoyim. Says the Rambam, I'm going to tell you a secret. The secret is, you should know, have a wonderful seudah, and give a lot of shalach manos, and go to the Masibah, and have a joyous, wonderful Purim. But if you want to have true simcha, if you want to get to the depths of unparalleled simcha, go ahead and be mesamech these people. Find people to lift up who are down, whether they're widows or orphans, whether they're people who are going through difficult times, whatever it is in terms of relationships, financially, health. That's Simchas Purim. That's the depth of Simchas Purim. But we could ask a question. Why is it that to be a Rachman is to be doimet to Rebbeinu Shalom, is to be similar to Hashem more than anything else? Seemingly there are other midas of Hashem we want to imitate and be like. It's not only Rachmanis. So why is it Rachmanis brings this Ein Simcha Gedol Mizeh? Why is it Rahman to be more dumb than Rebbeinu than anything else? So let me tell you a story about an 11-year-old boy. This boy was in camp. He had a wonderful time in camp, and it was the last night. And he was thinking how to spend his last night to have a really good time, to go out to camp with a bang. And people were doing all sorts of fun things. But he was interested in a certain person. There was a certain person, this other boy he had watched during that month, had really spent a lot of time helping other people. 11-year-old boy. People were down, people were having trouble, people were sad, people were being left out of games, whatever it was. This other boy would go around and lift these people up. So our young man here, this 11-year-old, decided, what's he going to do the last night of camp? He's going to follow around this boy who's doing chesed all the time and do what he's doing. Imitate him. And he spent the entire night going around, finding people who maybe didn't have the best time in camp, or maybe had difficult with a friend, or maybe were not looking forward to going home, whatever the home situation was, whatever it was, he went around the entire night lifting people up. And he was up the whole night, he didn't sleep at all. And in the morning, he felt he was on a high. He felt that like he never felt before in his life. He felt different because he spent the whole night doing chesed, he spent the whole night being a rachman. This is Pshat in the Rambam. The Gemara says in Beya, call him Merachem al Brias b'Yadua Shel Shel Avram Avinu. Anyone who's a Merachem, who does Rachmanis, who has compassion and mercy, we know that he is Avram Avinu's child. What does that mean? It means that the distinguishing feature of a Jew more than anything else is to be a Rachman. That's how we identify a Jew. And when the Jew gets in touch with his inner self, with his pnim, he's touching it, which is what he's doing when he's being merachem. So he is experiencing an inner simcha can't be paralleled by what else is going on out there. Whether it's getting shikr, whether it's being in the seudah, whether it's shalach manos, whether it's whatever it is. Because this is an inner simcha, he's getting in touch with his true self. Just like this little boy spent the night getting in touch with his true self, the Jew on Purim is imitating the Ribbono Shel Olam. Because as we said, the Jews were down and out. They were verfallen. They were meyuyish. They were broken. What did Ribbono Shel Olam do? He lifted them up. And so when you on Purim decide to spend time doing this, you spend time to be doimah to Ribbono Shel Olam. Zog the Rambam, ein simcha gedol mefura. There's no greater simcha. This is a day of simcha. This is not just a day to do chesed. It's a day to do simcha, says the Rambam. You want to do simcha? You want to experience simcha? Get in touch with your inner self. Be like me. That's who you really are. That's what a yid really is. In this way, we have an opportunity to experience the greatest simcha of all. And that's to get in touch with our true self. Because when we do that, we're on a high. We don't need to get shikr. If we get shikr, we can enhance it. But the simcha of visiting someone in the hospital, of calling someone on the phone who's going through a rough time, of seeing someone who's Nebuch lost someone recently, or is sick, or not feeling well, whatever it is, to spend time with that person and go out of our way and be merachim. In that way, we're getting in touch with our true self. We're being done with the Ribbono Shel Olam, and we're having a simcha which is unparalleled.